Welcome to Dirt, Sweat, and Gears and the showroom of show cars. Because a show is still a show. We are here with my 1973 Ford Maverick, and in the last video, we bought a carb cheater for the Maverick. We installed it, we did a nice review, and between the carb cheater itself and the live data logging that it provides, I was able to get my car running and driving to near perfection. And it has been an absolute joy to drive ever since. In this video, we're going to clean this car up for the first time in several years, and we're going to take it to a car show for the very first time since I've owned it. This is the first event that I have ever taken my Maverick to. It is the San Marino Motor Classics out in, well, San Marino. That's why it's called that. And just in case you were wondering, just because this car is running and driving very nicely, that is not the end of the road for this Maverick. I know I talked about selling it a while back, but after I got it home, and especially after being able to drive it and enjoy it, I have no interest in getting rid of this car. This is going to be a permanent fixture in my life for the foreseeable future. Now, I do have to swap out the Maverick with the Prelude in storage in a few weeks to get it ready for the Japanese Classic Car Show, but we're going to hopefully get into a pattern where I swap these cars out every few months. So I'm going to get the Prelude back. We're going to do some work on the Prelude, and then we're going to swap it back with the Maverick, do some more work on the Maverick, and we're just going to keep them rotating while we have other big jobs that, well, it's now time to prioritize. As of recording this, the event happened actually about a week ago. I'm recording this out of sequence. And that's because, well, I never got around to recording an intro. Before we go back in time, I want to talk about the next project because it's been sitting right there for a very, very long time. The 76 Camaro that was originally owned by my grandmother, that is going to be my next project. I promise. And I know I've been sitting on this for a long time, but that's because I had to figure out what to do about this engine. Well, it turns out there's another engine at my uncle's place in Palmdale, and I am going to get it tomorrow. So, in the next video, we're going to tear apart, well, at least one motor, probably even two. And we're going to figure out what the hell is going on with my Camaro. So stay tuned for that. And now let's go back in time a little bit and see how my Maverick did at the San Marino Motor Classics. Before we clean this car up for the San Marino Motor Classics, let's take a walk around and just take a look at what I need to do here. It's a little bit hard to see because the camera makes everything look better than it is, but this car is very dusty, and in fact, on the paint here, it's got really dark dust. And that's probably from the dirt from outside. It's more than just removing dirt, though. We're going to clay bar this thing to get it as clean as possible. Remove as many contaminants as we can. That said, there's some things that we just won't be able to do because it's impossible. There's some stains that are deep into the single stage paint here, and that is probably something that will never come out because it has been baked into the paint over many, many, many years. And that's just the nature of the beast when you have a survivor. You can see when I did a big, polish job several years ago, I got pretty thin on the paint here, and even though I got really thin on the paint here, there is still spots all over the hood that refuse to come out. So I'm not going to burn through the paint, just trying to remove imperfections. Imperfections are what it means to have a 50-year-old car with original paint. I might paint it someday, but that's a lot of money on a car that is objectively not worth it. It's probably worth more with the original paint, for being completely honest. And if I did have it repainted, I would want to be sure to replace this really cool pinstripe. And it's just, there's so many details that I don't want this to be a perfect car because the more perfect I make it, the less I want to actually touch it and enjoy it because I am afraid of it. On the inside here, as you can see, I have some of my detailing equipment. This is the extractor. I've done a quick pass on the interior with the extractor with the detergent, But we need to go through a second time with just water to rinse out all of the detergent. The rinse cycle is going to remove more dirt than the detergent will ever, but it's also going to make sure that doesn't smell foul after a couple of days. When you leave the detergent in the car, this was the experience that I had with my Project Prelude. After a couple of days, well, at first it smells nice, but then it smells terrible. So the rinse will make sure that the smell doesn't turn bad, and it's going to pull more dirt out of this car. And I did, as you can see in the tank here, I did just a minimal amount of detergent here. I went through very, very quickly because this car didn't have any major staining. It wasn't like the Project Prelude or my Prelude, where we've got, coffee stains, soda stains, bodily fluids, which we're not going to discuss on YouTube. This car has none of that. It's basically just had dirt from shoes. So that's all we're really picking up here. And the various, strands of wire that's stuck in the carpet. So we're pulling all of that out right now, and that's where we're going to pick up this video. Well, that was easy. We're going to let this dry overnight before we do anything else with these floor mats. We're also going to leave the windows down so that the inside of the car can air out. And we're going to open the windows of the garage overnight as well. But let's just take a moment to appreciate what a difference this made. I mean, all we did was clean the carpet, and it looks amazing. I mean, the back seat of this car with the front seats forward is massive. I mean, there's so much room for activity, like going to church and reading your Bible, because that's what you do in the back seat of your car. You read your Bible before church. If you look really close, which I know the judges will, you're going to see some crud underneath the seat. We're not pulling the seats out. Not in this project. It's going to be a while before we do something like that. But if we do take the seats out, rest assured, we're going to clean up real good underneath before we put them back in. But we're just going to roll with it the way it is for now. We want to clean up the dashboard and also the dash console that I repainted. And, it's still not perfect. There's a little gap here. But overall, it looks incredible. It looks really, really good, especially for a 50-year-old car and a survivor at that. So we're going to pick this back up once we have the carpet inside the car, and then we might start washing the outside. I'm going to wash it inside the garage with the 2-bucket method because it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, and I have air conditioning in my garage. So I'm going to stand here in front of my AC and clean this car rather than be in the sun melting. I'm just never going to make this perfect, so I think I should just appreciate it for what it is. And it's a really damn nice looking car. So instead of trying to do any kind of detail work to it, I just got 2 buckets of water, filled them both up with water, and with the clean water, dunk the sponge, wipe it down, put it in the dirty water, put it in the clean water, repeat, and I just wanted to get the dust off of the car. I'm really happy with the result. It looks great. However, I made a mistake. I was investigating a little bit of an issue with this rear drum brake. As it's spinning, I heard it catching just a little bit on the brake, and that was causing the brake to burn up. And so I wanted to readjust it. I wanted to kind of close it up a little bit so that maybe that wouldn't happen. And when I was putting the wheel back on, I dropped one of the lug nuts. And this is why I hate perfection, because I dropped a lug nut, and now my perfect wheel is no longer perfect. And that, to me, stands out more than anything else that is wrong with this car. And I was really, really pissed off about that. So maybe perfection isn't my thing. Maybe perfection is not my forte. I was going to try to clean the underside of the hood, but it wasn't working out the way I wanted it to. It was going to require a lot more work than I was willing to put in. And at the end of the day, the underside of the hood, well, even if I make that perfect, the whole rest of the engine compartment still looks like ass. So screw it. I'll deal with it when it's time to like pull the motor or something or do some major project. I can, get the engine compartment perfect or as close to perfect as it makes sense to get. And we're just going to deal with that another time. For now, let's just appreciate the car for what it is in this moment, because it's come a long way. I think that really is the lesson to be learned here, is that you don't need to have anything perfect. The more perfect you make something, the less fun you're going to have with it. I guarantee it. Get it to a good point where you are enjoying it, and enjoy it. We are on our way to the San Marino Motor Classics with my 73 Maverick. I'm really excited. I'm really nervous. I did sleep, so thankfully I'm not going to be a zombie. But this is so exciting. This is the first time I've taken my Maverick to an event ever, especially something as prestigious as San Marino Motor Classics. I've never had a car in an event like this before, so this is going to be really interesting. And I just can't, I'm beside myself with excitement. So it is really hot today. It's about 90 degrees, but we've got some cloud cover, so there is some relief there. The Maverick is running really great. We got the tach working. Our fuel is, I think that's accurate. I know I have at least 12, 13 gallons of fuel in there, so that's probably accurate. Everything is running good. We've got temperature, voltage, and oil pressure looking good. We got the carb cheater doing its thing down here on my Android device. I have the screen that did arrive in the mail a few days ago, but I don't have a power source in this car, so I can't use it. This car is kind of a handful to drive, especially one-handed, so I will see you at the San Marino Motor Classics. We've got the Maverick parked in our spot at San Marino Motor Classics, and we're one of the first few cars here. But as you can see, the cars that are here, it's no competition. I mean, their cars are just so much better than mine. My car might be the worst one here by a long shot. But that said, it's still a very nice car. And on the way in, seemed to have gotten a really great reception just from the few people that I've seen so far. The people opening the gate were asking me questions about it. They're just really surprised to see a Maverick this clean, especially at a car show like this, where, as you could see, even especially among the pony cars, the muscle cars, the cars that were very much more appreciated over the years, I have the worst car here. I really do. But it's still really nice and really cool to be here, and I think people are going to love it. Since the event had copyright music blasting nonstop, we're going to go straight into the gratuitous montage of show cars. Don't get me wrong, I love my Maverick. I think it's an amazing car, and it looks great, and it's in excellent condition. But it only took me about 4 seconds before I realized I had the worst car in that park by a long shot. Thankfully, I didn't come here looking for a trophy, because I'm starting to realize that with the right car, just showing up is enough. I had so many people coming up to my car because they hadn't seen a Maverick in decades. These cars used to be everywhere, but they were underappreciated, throwaway economy cars that nobody thought to preserve. Thankfully, an old friend from high school, James, thought of me after his grandmother passed away. James is not a car guy, but his grandma loved this Maverick, so he wanted it to go to someone who would appreciate it. And 7 years later, here I am at San Marino Motor Classic, hearing stories of nostalgia that had been lost in time for decades. The first lady that had approached my car told me about how she remembers riding in the back seat of a Maverick for most of her childhood, with her mom chain smoking in the front with the windows up, as he did back then. Another guy told me about how he was stuck in the seatbelt because it had ratcheted so tight he couldn't unbuckle it. When he tried to squeeze out, the seatbelt got even tighter. His dad thought he was going to have to cut the belt before he finally was able to unbuckle it an hour later. Another man in his 60s came up to me to reminisce about how he piled 6 of his best friends into a 4-door Maverick to go cruising around in high school, one of whom was with him at that show. These stories are all amazing, but my favorite memories from this weekend were of my wife and my cousin. My wife made all of this possible by enabling my dumb, expensive hobby of hoopties in the first place. But having her with me at this show gave me the feeling that no matter how out of place I was at one of the most prestigious car shows on the West Coast, in my blue jeans, work boots, and heavy metal t-shirt, I was at home, and I belonged here. My cousin Sydney brought light, life, and a sense of wonder with every step we took across that field. There was something to love about every vehicle there that day, and she found it. Her enthusiasm, curiosity, and deep appreciation for these machines and their builders was inspired by our shared heritage, known as the Mertz brothers. We came together to celebrate that heritage this weekend, and there really aren't words to describe how special that was. These are the memories that will drive me forward, regardless of whether or not my car will drive me forward.